Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Good evening and welcome to the National News broadcast, bringing to you live from the National News Studios here at Rupavahini. Ready to bring you the top stories here at home and around the world. I'm Charita Minupurarachi.
A very good evening indeed. I'm Sharifa Tahir. Let's take a look at the headlines.
IMF representatives who arrived for the third review in a preliminary discussion with the officials of the Ministry of Finance and the Central Bank. New cabinet to be sworn in tomorrow morning. Live telecast by the national television. Several parties including the NPP declare the national list. Catch thieves and reacquire stolen property, stresses the General Secretary of SJB. Special transport service for those who left for native places tomorrow also. Alert filled with tourists. 8 reported dead in a stabbing incident in a vocational training school in China. 17 wounded. On to those and other stories in detail now, and starting off with the top local story. A group of representatives of the International Monetary Fund has arrived in the island today.
The aim of the mission is to engage in a final evaluation on the financial facilities of the third installment. The IMF delegation will remain in Sri Lanka until the 23rd of this month. The team is headed by Chief of the Operational Staff, Peter Brewer. The IMF representatives hopes to engage in discussions with numerous sections and heads of the government during their stay in the island. The IMF has earlier stated that it was preparing to act in close collaboration with the government. The institute has also expressed its appreciation over carrying forward the reconstruction process in line with the financial facilities.
And meanwhile, the new cabinet of ministers is scheduled to be sworn in before President Anurakkumar Dissanayake tomorrow morning. The national television will provide a live telecast of the official ceremony scheduled to commence at the Presidential Secretariat at 9:30 a.m. President Anurakkumar Dissanayake, upon assuming the post of presidency, has appointed a 3-member cabinet of ministers. Dr. Haruni Amarasuriya was the Prime Minister. Vijay Herath was appointed as a member of the cabinet. The National People's Power government, which has secured an exceptional victory at the parliamentary election, will present its cabinet for the era of its renaissance.
Several political parties notified the National List Member of Parliament posts. The National People's Power has won the highest number of National List Member of Parliament posts. The national list of the NPP, containing 18 members, has been gazetted as members of Parliament in accordance with the Constitution. Bimal Ratnayake, Politburo member of Janatha Vimukti Peramuna, NPP, has received a National List Member of Parliament post. Senior lecturer of the University of Kalaniya, Dr. Anurag Karnatilaka, former Chancellor of the Ruhunu University, Professor Upali Pannilage, Information Technology Engineer Ranga Udesh Veeraratna, retired Major General Aruna Jayasekara, Company Director, Dr. Harshana Surya Perumal, Naval Assistant Engineer, Johnny Thiruvan Kodituwaku, Engineer Punya Shri Kumar Jayakodi, Jaffna District Organizer of NPP Ramalingam Chandrasekhar, Dr. Kajit Indika have been named as National List Parliament members. Olympian Sugat Tilakaratna, Attorney at Law Lakmali Hemachandra, Chartered Accountant Sunil Kumar Gamage, former Member of Parliament Gamini Ratnayake, Professor Ruwan Chaminda Ranasinghe, the Chairman of the Board of Visually Handicapped Graduates Sugat Vasantha De Silva, Deputy Direct Secretary of Sri Lanka Teachers Association Abu Bakar Adambawa, HR Upali Samarasinghe of National People's Power are the other National List Parliament members. In the meantime, entrepreneur Dilip Jayavira, leader of Sarva Janabalaya Party, has been named a member of the National List Parliamentarian of that party. The name has been included in the Gazette notification. General Secretary of Ilangai Tamilarasu Katchi, Dr. P. Satyalingam, has been named the National List Member of Parliament of the party. National Organizer Namal Rajapaksa has been named as the National List Member of Parliament of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna. Samagi Janabalavege, New Democratic Front and Sri Lanka Muslim Congress have so far not suggested names for the National List Parliament member posts. Gazette notification including the names of MPs elected to Parliament through the general election has been released.
And it was issued under the signatures of the chairman of the Elections Commission and its members. The Gazette notification includes the names of 196 parliamentarians elected according to the preferential votes on the district level. Meanwhile, the Sri Lanka Parliament informs that online registration of MPs elected to the 10th Parliament will commence with effect from today. A request has been made for them to arrive at the Parliament premises on the 19th and 20th of this month. A 3-day workshop on parliamentary procedure has also been organised for all MPs of the 10th Parliament. It will take place at the Parliamentary complex on the 25th, 26th and 27th. The new Speaker and officials of the Parliament, including Secretary General, will preside over the event. Such workshops have been organised since the year 1978. The new parliamentarians will be enlightened on issues such as standing orders, presentation of committee drafts, bill and privileges and powers of MPs. In addition, attention will also be focused at the workshops of the procedures relating to presentation of assets and liabilities under the Anti-Corruption Act No. 9 of 2023.
In the meantime, the presentation of the policy statement of the government at the opening of the first session of the 10th Parliament would be done at 11:30 a.m. on the 21st of this month. This has been informed in a communique issued by the Sri Lanka Parliament. This will be conducted by President Anurakumara Dissanayake. According to the clause 33A of the Constitution, the President has authority to represent or rather to present the policy statement of the government at the start of a Parliament session and to chair the inaugural meetings of the Parliament in accordance with clause 33 of the Constitution. The President would be presenting to the Parliament and to the people a detailed analysis of the future vision of his government in his policy statement. In the meantime, the inaugural session of the 10th Parliament is expected to commence on the 21st of this month at 10 a.m. In the meantime, General Secretary of the Samagi Jana Balavega, Ranjit Madhumabandara, says that reacquisition of properties looted by the corrupt politicians is an equally important as catching these rogue politicians. He has made these remarks at a media briefing held at the party headquarters today. General Secretary of JB Ranjit Madhumabandara said that we are today living in a bankrupt country. The countrymen are unable to have the 3 meals of the day. These destitute people are unable to have the required fertilizer, fuel at reasonable price. He added that people have decided that giving power to the National People's Power as a remedy to alleviate these burdens. He also said they accept the verdict of the people and pointed out that the responsibility of the government is to fulfill the promises it has given. The government must decide how to develop the economy and brighten the future of the youth of the country. He also said that the SJB would remain watchful of how the government is handling the problem. He has stressed that catching thieves and punishing them as well as taking back the property stolen by them are equally important issues.
And meanwhile, a special transportation services are being implemented today and tomorrow to bring back the public who went to their villages and cast their vote to spend their long weekend. Accordingly, a train from Mathura will leave for Colombo Fort at 3:50 a.m. tomorrow. A special train service from Galle to Colombo Fort will also be operated at 4:30 a.m. and 5:40 a.m. tomorrow. Normal train transport on the coastal tract, including all official trains, will also be conducted on schedule in addition to the special plan. The Ceylon Transport Board is also implementing a special bus service in addition to the normal timetable. The private bus services are also engaged in additional journeys.
The Alla tourist zone is reported to be filled with local and foreign tourists. The reports add that as a result, the economy of the businessmen in the area has been strengthened. The current period is considered as a time when foreign tourists in large numbers visiting the island. These tourists show a strong inclination to tour in the upcountry highlands where an enchanting climatic condition prevails. As a result, the Alla tourist zone is constantly full of tourists. Another reason for the current influx is considered to be the prevailing long weekend holiday.
Very nice here. Very good.
Friendly people.
And meanwhile, 4 persons were killed in road accidents in several places in the island yesterday and this morning. 5 others have also been injured. One accident has taken place near the General Cemetery, Borella, this morning. A motorcyclist was killed on the spot when his vehicle hit a motor car. The police say the high speed of the motor car was the cause of the clash. In Lianagama in Mahavakurunagala, a 20-year-old youth and his 53-year-old mother was killed in a road accident last evening. The motorcycle in which they were travelling went off the road and hit a nearby tree, and both victims were residents of Dippitigoda in Manikdiwala. In another accident in Bandanagala of the Polonaru Mahiyankane main road last night, a head-on clash between cab and a motor car has resulted in the death of one person. The victim was a 31-year-old resident in Dehiyattakandia. The police say that the accident has occurred due to the careless driving of the driver of the motor car. Meanwhile, an SLTB bus clashed with a JCB vehicle near Panapitiya Hospital in Kaluthira Horna Road yesterday. 5 persons injured in the accident and have been admitted to the Kaluthira and Nagoda hospitals.
The Navy has taken into custody a multi-day fishing craft transporting narcotics. It is suspected that around 40 kilograms of drugs have been apprehended in a raid carried out in the deep seas west of Sri Lanka. The Navy has conducted the raid at a location around 110 nautical miles west of the island. 5 suspects in the fishing craft have been arrested. The Navy also says the craft and the suspects will be subjected to further investigations.
And meanwhile, the paddy cultivation in the Maha season in the Kurunagala district has begun. 83,204 hectares of land comes under the paddy cultivation in this season. 18,051 hectares of paddy lands will be cultivated in the major irrigation program and 38,056 hectares of land under the minor irrigation program. The extent of paddy lands that come under the program to be cultivated through rainwater is 27,097 hectares. Accordingly, the cultivation target of the Maha season is 83,204 hectares. 163,000 farm families in the Kurunagala district are engaged in paddy cultivation. The Department of Agrarian Services says the government has provided the fertilizer subsidy to these farming families. The government has set aside a sum of more than 2,080 million rupees as fertilizer subsidy in the Kurunagala district. Assistant Director of the Fertilizer Secretariat, Shaminder Sampath, says that current fertilizer requirement includes 17,366 metric tons of urea fertilizer, 434 metric tons of TSP and 4,721 metric tons of MOP. The Bathalegoda Paddy Research Development Institute has informed farmers to make maximum use of existing rainwater as a decline in the monsoon rainfall is possible later on. It has also been pointed out that a specific type of paddy which is considered a weed is currently spreading in the paddy fields. A request has been made from the farmers to control the spread of the weed. Our correspondent says that the total area that would come under paddy cultivation in the Baha Valley L zone in the Baha season is 40,000 acres. He further says that sowing of paddy has already begun.
A new hybrid coconut variety has been introduced by the Coconut Research Institute as a remedy to the existing coconut shortage in the country. The CRI says the new type could yield a harvest within 3 years. The new hybrid coconut variety is named as Crick 65 according to the institute. A unique feature of this variety is the ability to cultivate in an extremely restrictive area of land. The high output would help to earn a higher income. A program to introduce the new variety took place in Dambulla recently. The Coconut Research Institute is acting in close collaboration with the private company CIC in propagating the program island-wide. Coconut saplings were distributed among 500 farmers at the commencement program. A group of officials of the Coconut Development Board, Coconut Research Institute and the CIC company were present at the occasion.
And meanwhile, according to the Department of Meteorology, showers or thunderstorms is expected in several areas in the evening or at night today. It has been mentioned in the weather report that the sea around the island would be a little rough. Rains of 75 millimeters are expected in certain places in western, central and Sabaragamu provinces along with heavy rains. Showers or thunderstorms is expected in the sea of Mana and Kantakasanture and Trincomalee Hambantutta. Rains are expected in the evening or at night. In the sea areas around the island, the Met Department further says that strong winds accompanied with rain can occur in the concerned sea areas. And that's it on local stories. Stay tuned with international news after this break.
Dengue, 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 dengue. Dengue, 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 dengue. Dengue, 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 dengue. Dengue, 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 dengue.
A total commitment by everybody, every day, will help control dengue. A message from the Ministry of Health.
Welcome back with international stories, and moving to China. 8 persons have been killed in a stabbing incident in a vocational training college in eastern China.
The police says 17 others have been injured in the incident. A 21-year-old youth has been arrested in connection with the incident which took place at the vocational training college in Wushu City. The preliminary investigations has been revealed that the suspect was a student at the school. He has confessed that he has committed the crime due to his inability to obtain a good examination result in his diploma studies. We move on to sports news now. The second one-day international between Sri Lanka and New Zealand is now in progress at the Parliamentary International Stadium.
The match commenced at 2:30 p.m. today. The first match of a 3-match series between Sri Lanka and New Zealand was won by Sri Lanka by 45 runs according to Duckworth-Lewis method. Sri Lankan players excelled in all 3 departments of the game. 103 matches have also so far been played between Sri Lanka and New Zealand. New Zealand won 52 matches out of them, while Sri Lanka won 42. 8 matches ended without a decision, while 1 match ended in a tie. Sri Lanka team has played 38 one-day international matches at the Parliamentary International Cricket Stadium and has won 21 matches so far. They were defeated in 16 matches and 1 match ended without a result. 2 matches have been played between Sri Lanka and New Zealand at the venue where Sri Lanka became victorious in both matches. If Sri Lanka could win today's match, they will get the opportunity to win an ODI against New Zealand after the 2012-2013 season.
Following him for a moment, I thought he hesitated a little. Things differently. Googly, right. Good on him. Oh no, I think he's gone wandering. I think this, and I think he's gone.
Sri Lanka football team was able to win a friendly match held yesterday against Yemen. The match was played in Qatar. Both the teams were unable to score a goal at the end of the first half of the match. In the 89th minute of the second half, Jack Hanger scored the first goal for Sri Lanka. Yemen players could not score a goal until the end of the stipulated time of the match, and Sri Lanka was able to win the match 1-0. According to World Football Ratings, Yemen is at 154th position while Sri Lanka is at 203rd. The second friendly football tie between the two teams is scheduled to be played tomorrow.
That's it on tonight's stories. Do it just tomorrow at the very same time. I'm Charika signing with Sharifa. Stay safe and good night.
Good night.